Let's talk about teams and Super Bowl rings, some of the Chiefs' top photos from the 2021 season, look at a key factor that this new receiving core brings that I believe will lead to much more success this season, and much freaking more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka the Red Bearded Elfman Hybrid, or sometimes known as the Bearded Basement Cold Brew Berserker. And first off, a reminder to any of the ladies watching, my eyes are up here. And second, I do daily news about the Chiefs and the NFL overall, so go ahead and sub if you're new to make your day. Hit that like button if you enjoy these daily videos that have literally been happening every day since January 24th. And let's get into this video starting light, like some sprinkled salt on popcorn, with a contest that is going on put on by Corey, the artist chief, on Twitter. Basically, if you follow him and myself on Twitter, then retweet this post, you have a chance of winning all 4 of these paintings, these prints of these paintings that Corey himself has done from the ground up. This man is legit. I can't even draw a stick person, so high praise to this man. It's an awesome opportunity if you want some awesome art. Link is in the description if that is an interest to you. Also to note, tomorrow's video is going to be a Q&A video instead of the typical daily vid because of the holiday. So if you want a question answered from me, leave a comment below with the hashtag HBTC and I'll try to get it answered in tomorrow's video. All right, here we freaking go with some player news across their social media channels. Sky Moore, I believe, held some sort of basketball tournament or charity event, or both, which appeared to be a great turnout. So, nice work, Sky. The sky is the limit with you handling things. Isaiah Pacheco is out here chilling near some big ol' inflatable slide thing, and then is hugging his buddy in this next clip. And yeah, let's just move on. Lonnie Johnson Jr. is eating clean and biking like a little maniac. And it looks like Justin Reed got a brand new Ford F-150, then wanted to take a selfie in it. And Trent McDuffie stays pretty quiet on social media, but was finally spotted at an Anaheim fire station number 10. Specifically, Jet McKinnon put on a rap concert in his car for all to behold, and Juan Thornhill is eating an entire squid thing. It looks kind of gross. I'm not sure how I feel about that one personally, but he is also staying in one of the prettiest places I have ever seen in my entire life, and I stay jealous. But on the subject of Juan Thornhill, Arrowhead Pride recently released some poll results via fan voting, and only 45% of Chiefs fans think that Juan Thornhill will have an all-pro season, even though he recently guaranteed it when he spoke with the media. So that's interesting. The next poll was on what happens with Orlando Brown Jr. on his long-term deal or not, and 72% of Chiefs fans that voted think that he's going to sign a long-term deal, which is the camp I pretty much sit in, although 24% say that he's going to play on the franchise tag, which is certainly another possibility, but one I find a little bit less likely. And then the last poll on this article is a vote on if the Chiefs will have 13 or more wins or 9 or 12 wins, and only 41% of voters think that the Chiefs will win 13 or more games. Meanwhile, 59% of voters think that the Chiefs win between 9 and 12. I personally am in that camp in the 11 or 12 game win train, although I will always welcome more W's in my life. Do not get me wrong. What do y'all think about these polls? Do you agree, or would you vote differently?
Sorry, Mr. Yeaman, I didn't hear your vote.
I said Mr. McPherson.
All right, NFL on CBS recently shared this graphic about teams with Super Bowl wins in the last window of time that they've won a ring. At the bottom of the barrel are teams that we need to constantly remind that they have never won the big game ever. Standout teams on this list would be the Bengals for obvious reasons, because they lost in the Super Bowl this year, beat us in the AFC Championship game as well, and I'm pretty bitter about that. Then there are Chargers. The little Chargers are on there, and I like that a lot. The Falcons are notable because they blew an enormous lead against the Patriots back in 2017. Absolutely horrible. Then you have the Buffalo Bills, who went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost 1, 2, 3, all of them. That sucks. How sad it would have been to be a Bills fan back then, and even today, ringless. But Josh Allen is a good quarterback, albeit he loses to Mahomes like a professional in the postseason. Anyway, the last 60 years, the Jets are on an island of their own, which is surprising to me that they're even on a list of winning a ring because they've been horrible for as long as I can remember. Then next up are the Miami Dolphins as well in the last 50 years, followed by the Raiders and Bears in the last 40. And poor little Raiders. They haven't won a Super Bowl since 1984 when I was -7 years old when it happened. And then America's football team, aka the Dallas Cowboys, aka they've been ringless for nearly 30 years, yet did have a very dominant stretch in the 90s. We got to be honest about that. Then I want to go ahead and skip to the front of this list to teams that have won a ring within the last 10 years because obviously the freaking Chiefs are on it thanks to this guy on this poster back here. And also, sadly, the Broncos are on it thanks to Peyton Manning, and the Bucks and the Patriots thanks to brittle old man Brady. And I am grateful to see the Eagles on this list because that means the Patriots have one less Super Bowl ring win because of good old Nick Foles. So thank you, buddy. So there you have it. Hopefully the Chiefs will get another ring soon, please.
Thank you for all your power and your grace, dear baby God. Amen.
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 And then the Chiefs have been releasing their top 10 photos of the 2021 season and highlighting powerful moments that can be captured by a camera, a frozen frame, a moment of time. It's something worth remembering. Certainly, I'm a videographer, photographer for a living, so I agree. Anyway, they have finally released enough photos for me to do a segment on it, so here we freaking go. Number 10 was Nick Allegretti's big man touchdown via the wild card playoff game against the Steelers. Number 9 is Jody Fortson catching his first career touchdown, and more of those to come this season, by the way. Number 8 is this epic wide shot of the entire stadium of Arrowhead packed full during the Week 9 game against the Packers, and thankfully we had to face Jordan Love, or I'm not sure we would have won that game. Anyway, number 7 is Mahomes staring someone down, probably Hill or Kelsey, in the middle of a play during Week 11 against the Cowboys. Number 6 is this sweet shot of Mahomes speaking to the team prior to taking the field during Week 2 of preseason against the Cardinals, and this shot is one of my favorites so far. Then you have number 5, which is Travis Kelce against the Chargers in Week 15, and I believe this is the catch he made during overtime in which he broke free for a 34-yard run and called game, ending it in absolute glorious fashion. What a time that was. Me screaming silently in my living room because the kids were sleeping. I definitely lost my mind when that happened, and I still have not found it, if I'm going to be honest. Anyway, there you have it with some of these top photos from the 2021 NFL season. And once the Chiefs release top photos 4, 3, 2, and 1, I'll do an updated segment on them for sure. Okay, let's spend some time talking about drops, because the Chiefs receiving core last season literally dropped footballs like Snoop Dogg himself told them to do it. The man Tyreek Hill was tied for the third most drops in the NFL last season with 10. And side note, he finished the season prior with 13 dropped passes, which was second most in the NFL. And then Byron Pringle last season was tied for the sixth most drops in the 2021 season with 7. So that is an issue, and by December 8th of 2021, Mahomes was leading the NFL in dropped passes with 30. So what gives? Is it that Mahomes is just that bad of a passer? Well, the answer to that is a big fat no, and confirmed by this. PFF recently released a smart little article calculating quarterbacks' incompletion per attempt percentage by separating a wide variety of incompletion types and separating them into buckets of fault. And when that was all factored in, Mahomes wasn't even in the top 15 of incompletions due to error in this factored equation. In fact, his incompletion due to error percentage was 5.2%, which included 658 passing attempts and 34 recorded incompletions. And that was only 0.1% higher than Aaron Rodgers, the league MVP, and 0.3% higher than the most accurate quarterback in the entire NFL, Tua Tagovailoa, who had a 4.9 rating. Anyway, enough of this little formula. What I'm saying is the blame is not on Mahomes as much as some people would like to try and pin it on him. And the bright news is this: the new receiving core is known for being able to hold on to the freaking football. So let's talk about the two main guys returning first, which is Mecole Hardman and Travis Kelce, who last year did contribute to 10 drops. Mecole had 80 targets, 59 receptions, and 4 drops. Kelce had 6 drops last season, yes, but saw 135 targets and 92 receptions. So not the best in the world per se, but he saw many more targets than Hardman and only had 2 more drops. So that is what it is. with McColl and Kelsey, but then we introduced to you the new guys, Juju Smith-Schuster, who was injured almost all of last season, but if you look at his 2020 stats, he saw 125 targets, had 95 receptions, and only 3 drops. And then Sky Moore looked very similar last season to Juju's 2020 season. He saw 125 targets, 94 receptions, and only had 3 drops. And then MVS saw 49 targets, 26 receptions, and literally 0 goose egg drops. So if you remove Pringle, Hill, and D-Rob, you remove 18 drops from the Chiefs last season. And if you add Sky, Juju, and MVS, you add 6 drops, which is again a difference of 12 freaking drops. So what does this mean, Cole, and why are we getting so far into the weeds about drops? Well, this is quite possibly the factor that could really help the Chiefs win games this upcoming season. They have a very tough schedule, and every catch is going to matter. The less drops, the freaking better, and we all know it. So don't disagree with me in the comments about this one. Some of these games come down to the absolute wire, and one catch could make all the difference. And yeah, I know at the end of the day, these are just stats and anything could happen this upcoming season, but I still found this worth mentioning because I believe that some of these dropped passes last year ultimately led to some losses. My question is, now to you guys, what do you think about this? Is this something worth noting and a positive moving forward? Or am I overthinking things a bit here? I just think when you remove Hill and Pringle and D-Rob, you remove 18 drops. And then total last season, MVS, Smith-Schuster 2020 season, and Sky Moore had a total of 6 drops. 6 drops versus 18. That has to mean something, right? Definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and let's have a nice little fireside chat about it. From here, John P., the man himself, sent over a $5 super thanks asking a question about yesterday's video, so I wanted to take a moment to answer him. He said, "I appreciate the content, brother, and I've been watching your vids every day this offseason. Keep up the excellent work. Quick question, Gore looked great to me every time he touched the ball last season. Am I missing something that would keep him from getting more touches or even potentially keep him off the roster?" Well, first off, thanks for the $5, you legend. But about Gore, I still think he has a pretty good chance of making the practice squad at the least. If they're taking 4 running backs and a fullback on the active roster like they did back in 2019, I just think it'll play out like this. CEH, Rojo, and McKinnon as the top 3 backs. And then I think Pacheco is going to edge out Gore onto the active roster due to his special teams ability, especially if they use him as a returner. And that's not to say Gore is bad or I don't like Gore, because I agree. He had some moments last season when he touched the ball and flashed and looked really good. And I listed that as positives for him to return this upcoming season with those moments, plus knowing the playbook, having some rapport with the coaching staff and all that good stuff. His likelihood of making the practice squad should honestly be pretty decent. And when injuries do happen, which they will, we should see him activated. Again, this is all based around the fact that they either keep 4 running backs on the active and 1 on the practice squad, or 3 running backs on the active and 2 on the practice squad. But again, if they only kept 3 active and 1 on the practice squad, that was a scenario in which I said I think Gore would be gone, because I think they would keep Pacheco for his youth. He's like 6 years younger, 5 years younger, faster, and his ability to play on special teams, I think, would edge Gore out in that scenario. But again, that's just one scenario of many, and crazier things could happen. Like McKinnon could not make the team somehow. Rojo could get traded, though I don't find that one highly likely. Pacheco could be progressing much slower and end up on the practice squad instead. But I know they really need special teams players, so Uncle Dave may want to see him on there, even if he's not returning punts and kicks. And then also to mention about Pacheco is how much he loves to pass block, which is very important. And then also another scenario, since we're throwing them all out there, injuries could happen prior to the season as well. So a bunch of factors at play here, and we will have to wait it out. So I guess I sort of answered your question, or I hope I at least brought some clarity to it. Let me know in the comments down below if I did. And then to everybody else watching, make sure to leave a bearded comment or a super thanks to potentially be featured in an upcoming vid. Sub for more daily news like this, blah, blah, blah. And then check out this video here from a channel with a couple thousand subs called Mathis NFL about the Chiefs still being Super Bowl contenders for this season. And I like that a lot. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?